Athletes deserve the right to privacy, but should they expect it? I've been thinking a lot about this these past couple of days because there's been a little bit of drama online surrounding Katie McCabe, who's Arsenal women's soccer player, after a video of her was posted on TikTok and other social media outlets that showed her dancing and having fun in a club. Now, that part wasn't necessarily dramatic or special. It's what people thought she was doing in the video, which made it become a bigger issue. Now, Katie McCabe is in a relationship, and fans claimed that in the video, it looked like she was kissing someone else. So essentially cheating on her partner. And a lot of people agreed with what this looked like and basically ran with this narrative. So people started posting the video all over and spreading it all over social media, saying she's a cheater, all of these things. It was a big deal. And there were essentially two viewpoints that came out of this. So one camp of people who were like, players deserve the right to privacy, like get a life, get a job, put the phone down, leave them alone. And the other camp of people who are like, no, she was in a public setting dancing near a DJ, which gets recorded all the time. And so if she doesn't want her business being recorded and put out there, then she shouldn't do questionable things in public. And so I wanted to make this video not because I really have an answer to it, but more because I happen to fall somewhere in the middle of these two viewpoints. So from a legal point of view, absolutely, professional athletes, like all of us, do deserve the right to privacy, even in public settings. I think there's this common misconception that when you're in public, it's fair game. So literally anything and everything you do in public can be recorded and posted and you have no rights to it. That's actually not necessarily true. Many countries do have rights that protect people's right to privacy, even in public settings. Of course, it's situation dependent. So if you're in public and you're recording yourself or you're recording your friends and people are caught in the background and now you want to post the video to social media. So technically you should be blurring out the faces of those people in the background. And that's because if those people happen to come across your video and they didn't want to be posted, they could demand you take it down. And if you don't, they could get the law involved. But the reality is that barely ever happens. I think most people don't know that they've been caught into the background of other videos, or even if they do know that they're on TV, they don't care. But nonetheless, these laws do exist in case someone doesn't want their image posted. They can demand to take it down if there was no consent that they gave. So I get it from a legal point of view. But even from an ethical standpoint, just proper conduct, proper behavior suggests don't post videos of unsuspecting people in public and then post it on social media for them to be ridiculed and criticized, which is essentially what happened to Katie McCabe. So legal point of view, ethical point of view, I agree that players deserve the right to privacy in public. But where I get caught up on is whether they should expect it as professional athletes. Using Katie McCabe as an example, she is a public figure. Whether she believes that, whether her fans believe that or not, she is. And there are just different expectations around privacy that come with being a public figure. I mean, paparazzis are a profession that literally involves following famous people around, recording them, taking photos, posting it online, even selling it, all without the consent of the celebrity they took a photo of. The ability to take photos and videos in public, which is what paparazzis do, is actually protected in constitutions and falls under the freedom of information and freedom of speech. Think about how many videos and photos we've seen of famous people walking on the street to get groceries, walking along the beach swimming in the ocean with their families, at a cafe, restaurant, leaving a club. We've seen these photos and images so many times. And for sure, those famous people did not give their consent for those to be posted. There's a general expectation that when you become famous or a public figure, you're going to do things in public that people are going to record and post. And that's just how it is. I mean, can you imagine if Taylor Swift demanded that every fan who took a photo or video of her had to get her consent first before they posted it on their social media? I mean, she'd literally have no life. Her new job would just be to give consent. So is this not a realistic expectation to have privacy in public if you're a famous person or a famous athlete? Now, the popularity of women's soccer is still growing. It's very popular now, most popular it's ever been, but it's still a growing sport, especially when you compare it to like men's soccer, for example. And for that reason, there is really great fan access to players, especially when you consider all of the autographs and photos that get taken after women's soccer games. And I love that this is a thing, but I do think that it leads to two issues. One, fans feel closer to players on a relational level than they actually are. So it's this idea of a parasocial relationship, which is essentially a one-sided psychological relationship where people, in this case fans, have a strong emotional attachment to other people, usually celebrities or athletes who don't even know they exist. So if you want to see a perfect example of this, take a look at the music video for Stan by Eminem, and it'll become really clear for you. The other issue that I think exists when you have this closeness between fans and women's soccer players is that it continues this perception in fans' eyes that women's soccer is still somewhat small, and therefore the players should have the ability to walk freely in public and do whatever, whenever they want, and deserve and expect to have privacy and not be recorded in public. And again, that's just not a realistic expectation for a public figure. Now, I also think there's a bit of a double standard when it comes to calling out boundary crossing. I mean, there are a lot of questionable things that get posted online about players that people tend to just laugh off or ignore. Or it could be content that's a little bit more serious, but because they don't like the person in the video, they don't really care to bring up privacy. Perfect example of this is that there was actually another video that went viral just last month in May that also involved Arsenal again. Depending on who's watching this, you may know which incident I'm talking about, but it happened between Jonas Eidevall, who is the Arsenal women's head coach, and Viv Miedema, who is like Arsenal legend, whose contract has ended and she has now left the team. Now, there was an interaction that happened on the sideline of a game. It looked like Viv was getting ready to sub in, and I guess Jonas changed his mind and decided he didn't want to bring her in anymore. And he gave her a little kind of give a little nudge, a little shove back to the bench. He didn't do two-armed push, but he definitely shoved her a bit. And she didn't take too kindly to it. She like looked back at him. She gave him a look. She was kind of pissed. This was recorded by a fan. So you'll see the recording. It was taken through like the mesh of the goalie net. She happened to zoom in and catch this incident. And then she posted it online. And Twitter went crazy. People were complaining. Arsenal fans were mad at Jonas after they saw this. Rival fans were like, see, male aggression. He's a bad coach. He's physically touching players. It was terrible. Now, I know some people's immediate reaction to me bringing up that example is going to be like, why are you bringing up that example? That is very different scenario from the Katie McCabe incident in the club. And like, I get it. I also had to think about, are these really similar? But like, they kind of are. Let's look at it. Both incidents happened in a public setting. Football pitch is a public setting. A nightclub is a public setting. Just because a nightclub's inside and it's dark, it doesn't mean it's not public. It's a commercial establishment. So in the eyes of like municipal law, both are public settings. Next, both had a fan zoomed in recording on them. So it wasn't a situation where someone's recording something and they just happened to be caught in the video in the background. No. The focus of the video was them. Next, both videos got posted online on social media without anyone's consent. Viv, Jonas, Katie, none of these people gave their consent to have these videos posted. And then lastly, the posted videos led to heavy criticism of one of the people in the video. So for Viv and Jonas got criticized a lot. And then for the Katie McCabe video, McCabe got criticized a lot. So like when I describe it that way, both situations are quite similar. And again, I know some people may think, well, one was on a football pitch, so it's very different. But it wasn't caught on the broadcast. It's not like we were sitting and watching it on TV or on FA Player and it was picked up on camera or was picked up in a replay and it was broadcast to everyone to see. No. We wouldn't have known that incident on the sideline happened if not for a fan going out of their way to zoom in and record it and then post it. Just like we wouldn't have known what Katie McCabe was doing in the club if not for a fan zooming in, recording it, and posting it. Very similar situations. But the biggest difference is no one brought up privacy when it came to the Viv and Jonas video. So I wanted to give this example just to present the double standard of what people consider boundary crossing. So I'm a bit of a pessimist or realist, depending on how you look at it, when it comes to whether I actually think famous people, professional athletes, will ever have the right to full privacy in public. Like, I don't actually think that that's realistic, but let's just say that's something we did want to try and achieve, at least in like women's soccer, because it's still a little bit of a smaller sport. I do think there are two things that would need to happen. One, I think that the players themselves would actually have to start calling out and or actively contacting fans who post questionable things and telling them to take it down. So Katie McCabe actually already posted a video after all of the stuff that was being said online. She posted a video saying it was loud in the club. I wasn't kissing anyone. I was leaning in to talk to them. But this is an example of a player who goes out of the way to call people out. I don't necessarily love this idea because it does put the onus on the players to have to do something, but there is evidence that it works. For example, Leah Williamson posted an Instagram story where she was posing with people and there was a little girl in the video that she blocked the face of the girl of. A fan, I guess, had access to the original photo and so posted the original photo but didn't cover the girl's face and then tagged Leah Williamson in it. So Leah Williamson got the notification and she was like, what the hell? So she messaged or she DM'd the person, like, why did you post this photo? Like, I blocked this girl's face and then you reposted it showing her face. Like, take this down. And the person took it down. So again, although I don't love the idea of like players having to take this on, of like contacting people or calling out fans who cross boundaries, I do think there's evidence that it works. The other thing that I think needs to happen is that fans need to, I think, take a look at their own biases, assess the double standards that they have when it comes to what they have an issue with and what they want to call out and what they decide not to call out. If someone's posting 10 videos that are potentially crossing boundaries and the first 9 videos no one says anything about, we don't get to play moral police on the 10th video and say, you should know better, put your phone down. Like, why should we expect them to know better? You didn't have an issue with the other 9 videos that they posted. So I think if we truly want change and we want more fans to respect the privacy of players, then I think we need to consistently call out things that are a little bit questionable, that are crossing boundaries, that are infringing upon privacy, whether we like the person or not in the video, whether we think the video was innocent or cute or not. I think we just need to call it out all the time so that eventually people will start to maybe think twice about what they post. So anyways, that was just some of my thoughts on athlete privacy that was mainly influenced by all of the Katie McCabe drama that was trending recently, although it really does apply to every athlete. When I really enjoyed making this video, I haven't made something like this before, but it felt kind of like a conversation with strangers who I cannot see. I don't know if anyone's going to see this video. I have like no followers or views, but if you do happen to come across this video and watched all the way to the end and liked this video, whether you agreed with it or not, if you found it kind of interesting, please let me know in the comments. Or if you're not a commenter, I get it. Even just like the video, just so I get a sense of if people are interested in it. Anyways, if you like this, please like, subscribe, comment if you can, and I will catch you in the next video.